If you guys didn't know, I converted to Islam 2 years ago. Let's do my lip combo and let's talk about it for a second. Before I, get into this discussion, if you look at me or you've watched some of my videos, of course you would not be able to tell that I'm Muslim because I'm not a practicing and perfect Muslim, even though at the end of the day, whatever religion you are, nobody's perfect. I'm gonna talk about how I became Muslim, okay? The struggles that I went through when it came to me making it known to people that I'm Muslim, my current struggles, and whatnot. Starting off, I actually grew up around racist white Christian conservatives on my mom's side. Also, guys, I cannot multitask, so let me put my line on real quick. I hope nobody comes in, so let me just line this up real fast. But yes, I grew up around racist white Christian conservatives, and I grew up Christian myself. I was baptized at 12 years old. Every Wednesday and Saturday I would go to church, but I never felt connected to Christianity, and a lot of it didn't make sense. For an example, I understood the part of Jesus and God, but I didn't understand why my family, who were Christians, were basically praising Jesus. Every time we would eat, we would, bow our heads down and we would literally say "Oh, dear Jesus, thank you for this food." And in my head, I'm like, why aren't we, thanking God instead? So yeah, from a very young age, I always had questions. And then also with my grandparents being racist towards literally everybody, more specifically Muslims, I had a lot of questions. So, me being the curious little girl that I was, right? Obviously, my grandparents told me all this crazy stuff about Muslims and how they're terrorists and all this crazy shit. I became friends with all of them in school. And let me tell you, my grandparents were not happy about that. My grandparents would literally tell me, "Oh, you gotta watch out for them because one day when they ring the bells, they're gonna, everybody who's pagan." So yes, throughout middle school and high school, majority of my friends were, Muslim. My best friend to this day, who I've known since I was 16, she's Muslim. So by me being around her all the time, anytime I had questions, I would always ask her, and whatnot. Right then and there, I had an interest in this love for Islam. Under the age of 18, I could not make it known to my family, and I couldn't really express myself to my family or a lot of people in my life that I was interested in Islam because of, their judgments and whatnot. When I turned 19, I started working here in the tobacco shop, and majority of the coworkers here are Muslim. So anytime I had more questions or I wanted to learn about Islam, I would ask them, and they taught me everything that I wanted to know. From the ages of 18 to about 21, I was in a toxic relationship with my last ex. And once I got him out of my life, I wanted to change my life for the better and give up my old lifestyle and kind of found my purpose. So I started looking into Islam, and that's when I met my now ex-husband. When I first met my now ex-husband, I thought he was absolutely great, and I saw him as a good Muslim man. So he would teach me a lot about everything. Eventually, he gave me the Quran, and he would send me videos of, things that I needed to know more about when it came to Islam. When it came to my ex-husband, he already knew about my past before he met me. So he gave me a lot of reassurance. He taught me my worth and whatnot. So I gave up that old lifestyle, and that's when I really looked into Islam. One thing that I'm really trying to work on is keeping my sins in my past hidden. But for me, I've always been an open book. I'm not really afraid of being judged because I know my past does not determine my future. And I know that we all have done wrong in life, and sometimes we have to go through the worst stuff possible to grow as a person. So yes, I gave up my lifestyle, and eventually I took my shahada. I took my shahada 2 years ago, and when I tell you, like, that was actually the most beautiful experience that I've ever physically felt in my life. It really is. After I took my shahada, I prayed for the first time, and I just thought, oh, Muslims, they just, bow down, whatever, and that's it. No, the first time I prayed, I just remember after I was done praying, I felt this physical negative energy get lifted off of me. I'm not even joking, guys. Like, I'm not trying to sound like I'm in this like religious psychosis, whatever, but I'm actually being so serious. And so right then and there, I was like, you know what, this is it. This is what I've been looking for like my entire life. But what's so crazy is, like, the moment I converted to Islam, I just feel like everything bad happened right away. And if I'm being completely honest, when you mess around with God, God will show you. Not to cuss, because some of you guys get mad when I cuss, but when you fuck around, you're gonna find out, literally. So because after I took my shahada, right, there were some things that I did that goes against God, and God showed me, literally. As an example, my abortion. I had my abortion after I took my shahada, and it's so crazy because obviously I was pregnant, and at first I was going to keep our daughter, but then I went through that moment of panic, and then I also didn't want to ruin my ex-husband's reputation as a Muslim man. And we were talking about getting married, so we went to the masjid and we took a tour, and I just remember the guy giving me this like book. I opened it, and there's literally a picture of a fetus, and at that moment I was considering having an abortion, but like that was the first sign of God. God knew I wanted to give my baby up, but he didn't let me. A week after we got Islamically married, that's when I had my abortion. This is gonna sound, like cliche or cheesy, but I promise on my daughter, on God, on my life, that moment when I swallowed the first pill, mifepristone, in my head while I'm like bawling my eyes out, I took the pill and I like looked up and I was like, God, please protect my baby. And I swallowed it. Let me not get emotional, but I obviously was full of regret. I even buried what I thought was my baby in a plant. As time went on, I still felt pregnant though, but then I thought I was just like delusional. A month after I had my abortion and I thought it was successful, but I kept having pregnancy tests. That's when I went into Planned Parenthood and they confirmed that the abortion failed. So right then and there, that was a huge sign for me that God is real. And again, when you fuck around with God, God will literally show you. But anyways, when I first made it known to people that I was Muslim, to my family, a lot of people turned their backs against me, and I lost some friends. When I would tell people that I'm Muslim, the first thing that people would ask me is if I'm Arab. And right then and there, I just knew that a lot of people don't know much about Islam, and a lot of people are kind of stupid. As time went on, after I took my shahada and after my pregnancy, it was really rough, especially being in a full-blown haram relationship. I got off my deen, but now that I am divorced, I'm really trying to get back on my deen and find God again. It is such a struggle as a convert or revert, just because of the society that I live in and just the environment, I'm really trying to get back on my deen, so if you guys see my videos switch up or anything like that, now you know why. And no, I did not convert to Islam for a man. If anything, he helped to guide me back to God, honestly. But subhanallah, look how God works.